Well, I'll give a thanks to a guy by the name of Chad Lisby. If you haven't been to his channel, probably ought to check it out. I know you can't see my full face, and this is not the ideal setting to be able to hear my conversation. But it is cold out. I do have the heat on, so bear with me, as I'm not going to light up my whole face and all that. This is just going to be raw, straight up front, no fancy shit. Let's talk about the things that we're missing, the things that we have missed, and why we can't change it. It's going back about 17 years now. I came out of the military. I worked a full-time job. Did things pretty good. Made it pretty well. My family, love my kids, still do. My wife is wonderful. And then all of a sudden, in around 2006, I had a, quote, anxiety attack or panic attack, and eventually it led to being diagnosed with PTSD and etc., etc. I wasn't going to show my face in this video, but I feel like for the sake of accountability, I probably need to. And no offense, this is just the first of many to come as I document this journey, that I want to tell you that I'm sorry if you are going through anything what I have been through. And I'm sure that some of you have gone through worse, but I'm not going to apologize for what I'm about to say. And I'm not doing this to get famous, by no means, on social media. I mean, hell, I don't even do Facebook or nothing like that. But let's talk about repercussions of previous actions, lack of education, and a little bitty thing, pill, right, called Xanax. Yeah, that's mine. It is prescribed to me. I'm going to put it back in its bottle, because that has got to be the worst decision that I ever made in my life. Actually, that was made for me in my life. And even though I was assured that it would help even things out, it was not addictive, it was safe, etc., etc. That little pill there, when they started me on that medication almost 18 years ago, they started me out at 6 milligrams per day. 6 milligrams a day. Now, I got to be frank with you. When I first started taking it, and I felt like the world had been lifted off my shoulders and I had my life back. It wasn't until about 9 years later, almost 10 years later, that I noticed that I was not able to go as long without the medication I first started taking it, I would not even finish my prescription sometimes. You know, actually there were several years that I would miss 2 or 3 refills. It's a mind fuck. It will dig its nails and claws into you, and then it'll wrap you up in a chain so big you can't get it off of you. Not instantly. The reason that I'm making this video is I'm hoping that somebody, I don't care if it's just one person that watches this, one person, if you are dealing with anxiety or PTSD or some type of traumatic brain injury or childhood traumas, etc., that before you let them slap you on Xanax or a benzo or Valium or any other medication, why don't you get a second opinion and try to do some talk therapy, self-reflection? And it's sad that here it is 18 years later that I'm just now self-reflecting at a level that's detailed. Hell, I just came out of a restaurant from grabbing a bite to eat and decided that I was going to take Chad Lisby's advice and make this video, because I don't really give a fuck anymore. I am done. I'm sick of it. Unfortunately, my body and my mind, right, my subconscious mind, is not. When I hit that hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours after I've taken that medication, it is like my skin is crawling and I have to take another one. And I'm trying not to backpedal too far here, but last year it got worse because my new therapist, my new doctor, decided to just cold turkey me and switch me over to Valium, which landed me in an emergency room. And I noticed now that the anxiety, the pattern, so to speak, which is probably the best word for it, the pattern, has gotten worse. So let's short format this just a little bit so you can kind of see where this is at. 18 years ago, I traveled with my family. We went to Disneyland. We went on vacations to other places. I played with my kids. I rode four-wheelers. I hiked. I rappelled. I loved to hunt. All that. That was me. I was all in, 100%. You fast forward now to about 2016, 2015, or even 2014, to just those years, it got to a point then where I would avoid going certain places that I could not explain for the life of me why. I missed almost 18 trips with my wife, my kids. I missed almost every ball game and cheer competition of my daughter, her freshman, junior, and sophomore year. Now, granted, I was only 15 miles away from several of her games. I would make a couple of those here and there, but I would always have an excuse. I've got to work, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And the truth was was that when I'd start heading out that way, my mind would just go stupid. It gets set on default mode and pattern mode, and that did not fit into my daily pattern that had developed over this last 15 to 18 years. Now, I don't know your story. I don't know your situation. So, I can only say what I know about my situation. I've got this thought, okay, that number one, you cannot explain to a woman, now this may trigger somebody, so if you're easily triggered by things, you might want to stop the video here. Okay? But number one, you cannot explain to a woman what it's like to lose a child, or to a dad what it's like to lose a child, and say you understand if you did not yourself experience that. It's a different loss when you lose your own child than it's a different loss than when you lose a family member or a friend. It still hurts. But losing your own child is like a part of your life, a piece of your family, which my wife and I went through that when we lost our daughter at birth. I dug that grave myself with my 2 hands and that shovel. You cannot explain to a woman what it's like and that you understand as a therapist or as a doctor and say, you know, I understand what you're going through. If she's been raped or molested or beaten or abused, if you didn't experience that shit yourself. So hold your tongue. Don't even say, I understand. Because it's bullshit. Okay? It's a script. Now, if you actually did experience that, you might have that right to lean in. You might not have been through the exact situation, but you have experienced something similar. Sitting here right now in front of this camera, I'm uncomfortable as hell. I don't like it. Don't want to be on video. Made a couple little things with my kids a few times out of just fun, but I was uncomfortable. But I've got so fucking used to being uncomfortably uncomfortable that I don't even know what comfort is anymore. Because now up here, this brain of mine has been trained by that little orange peel that I showed you a while ago to stay in this pattern. Now I'm going to tell you what that pattern has been for me, and you decide if you've got the same thing going on for you. And maybe over this next few weeks and these next several videos, my journey, whether it goes good, stays the same, or gets worse, I've got these videos to hold myself accountable and say, I remember this, and I said this, or that, etc. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. I have let my medication run more holidays, more birthdays, more vacations, more sunny afternoons, more just watching a movie with my kids than I care to even try to reflect on, because it hurts. It's painful. And what do? We get into that discomfort zone. We think we're going to have anxiety, or we're about to panic, or we start having flashbacks or something. We pop another freaking pill. It numbs your ass out. You still feel it, but you don't feel it physically, because now your endorphins, your adrenaline, your dopamine, everything is completely out of whack because of some pharmaceutical experiment. And you and I were the fucking guinea pigs. about 15 minutes into this video, and I know I'm just rambling and I'm ranting right now, but just please, if you need to hear what I've got to say, watch the video. I don't have timestamps. I don't know how to edit. Don't know how to do any of that shit. But listen to me. I've eaten at the same restaurant every single day, damn near at the same exact time for the last 9 years. I go to bed the same way, at the same time, almost every single night. And you know what? Sometimes that's not even until 3 o'clock in the morning. Between 2:30 and 3 a.m. is when I finally go to sleep. And my ass sleeps until 11 o'clock the next day. My excuse? Just tired, don't have the energy. My knee hurts, which it does. I'm facing a knee replacement right now. But you know what's more sickening than that? Is just at 50 years old, or just shy of it, I know for a fact that that's not what I was built for. I was not designed to be who this person is sitting in front of this camera. I was designed and created to conquer the world. From my perspective, to father my children, not be just dad, right? To actually be a father-like figure, to guide and direct them, to comfort them when they were hurting, to celebrate their accomplishments, to scold them efficiently but somewhat gently, and explain why, so they could be on the right path. My behavior had gotten reckless. My spending habits got reckless. I would spend hours driving around the city that I live in, not doing a damn thing. I didn't want to be at home. I would get up in the morning. First thing, every morning, I wake up with tremors. I take my Xanax. I take my medications. I put my boots on after I get dressed. I go straight up front. I grab me a bottle of water, a glass of water, or a drink of tea. One of those three. I take some magnesium supplements and a couple of other things. Then I go back. I use the restroom. I brush my teeth. I am out the door. If I'm not out the door within an hour of me getting out of bed, my wife asks me if I'm okay. She's not used to me sticking around. Then I'm gone all day, sometimes doing nothing productive. Not a thing. Sometimes I'll build shit. I do things. Right now, let's just put it out there. I own a construction company now. I was a paramedic. Prior to that, I was a combat medic. I remember standing back in 2010, or maybe it's 2009, responding to a call. And I remember as plain as day, I had to respond to that call. It was 30 minutes from where I was at. And the ambulance that was closer couldn't make it there because they had a current patient. I got a phone call on my cell phone on the way to this person's house who had called in complaining of chest pain and shortness of breath. And they thought they were having a heart attack. And then she explained to me that we've been there about 6 or 7 times. He has panic attacks and PTSD. So I remember in my mind at that point in time, I didn't judge him, but I also wasn't in that mode of, holy shit, I gotta get there, gotta get there, gotta get there. Grab me this, grab me that, grab me this, grab me that out of my truck. I get on scene, I walk in the door, this guy's got all of his windows blacked out. Going to find out he doesn't ever leave his trailer. Got two people standing in the living room talking, saying he doesn't ever get out, but he doesn't look really good. When I get in there, I turn my flashlight on. He's pale, he's clammy, and he's sitting in a tripod position and he couldn't breathe. My first thought was, oh fuck. I told the EMT that was with me to grab the monitor, which I would typically take in the house with me on a call like this. She walked outside the door to go get the monitor. Before she got back inside, he went into cardiac arrest, and I started CPR on him after I drug him into the floor out of his chair. We got him onto the stretcher. Now I had no time because my mindset had been triggered into thinking it's just a panic attack. Sadly, despite my efforts and the efforts of those at the hospital, he lost his life. I couldn't get him back. I've been to the emergency room in excess of 15 to 18 times for chest pain that I thought was cardiac, and every single time I go in there, you know what they tell me? It's just anxiety. Those little heartbeat skips that you're getting, those palpitations or PVCs, which that's what mine are, that's normal. Everybody gets them, etc., etc. Irregardless of the mental toll that it's taken on my quality of life, that's what I get told. And of course, if anybody has ever dealt with health anxiety or anxiety in general, you're like, no man, that's not right. So what this is. But now let's go backwards again real fast to the pre-alprazolam, pre-Xanax date. I had chest pain here and there. I was like, man, I must have worked out too hard at the gym. I couldn't tell you, I don't even walk on a treadmill now. Tonight and yesterday and the day before yesterday, which has prompted me to make this video. Again, thank you to Chad Lisenby for the videos and his heart pour out that he got. So if you're watching this video, you need to watch that guy, because I'm going to be all over the place with mine until I get this figured out. But here's the deal. I decided that since I've eaten at the same restaurant every single day, and that's not bullshit, every day, the same food, the same drink, the same restaurant, the same time, the same meal. I don't even eat there because of the food, because I don't even taste it anymore. It's just a routine. It's a pattern to me. And that's the pattern that I have to go through, because it's my, quote, safety zone, my level of comfort. So tonight I'm sitting in front of a burger place. I don't do a lot of carbohydrates, nothing like that. I try to really watch what I eat. But this is the third time that I've eaten at a restaurant that was not that restaurant that I typically go to every single day. And something kind of shifted where I was like, yeah, something else does sound good. Now, 15 years ago, I would have hit Red Lobster, I would have hit another steakhouse, etc. I was good to drink some coffee and have a latte from Starbucks. I don't know the last time I had coffee. Why am I putting all this on this video, uncut and raw and filtered? Because I'm vulnerable as fuck right now. I'm uncomfortable as fuck right now. And I really don't give a shit. I don't care what anybody else thinks anymore. Now it's about me and me. The me that's in here and the other me that is back here that seems to have gotten programmed by this drug that was supposed to help me. Xanax is poison. And despite my efforts of trying to cut back, I failed multiple times on my own. And then when I found a doctor that is willing to work with me on cutting me back, they cut me back too fast, and it sends me into intermediate withdrawals. So my whole day is just miserable. But I tell you what's even more miserable is knowing that 2 days before Christmas, you've got 2 days of medication, and you're hoping that the guys from FedEx is going to fucking get to your house to deliver your medicine, because you're going to ruin your family's Christmas because you don't have your little orange football pill, or your white one, or your blue one, or whatever the hell they gave you. I've got to drive, so you're going to have to listen while I drive. And I'm sorry that this video's taking so long, but I got to get this out. Actually, I'm not sorry. If you're with me this long, then you must understand what I'm saying. If you've already left the video, then I get it. Listening to someone talk while they're driving with no visual effects, it's not exactly ideal. So I might not be looking at you, but I'm still talking to me either way. So what do we do about it? Well, first of all, you can't trust the healthcare system overall to help you with a crisis of what I would call a monumental proportion. You see, before, I felt good about just waking up. I didn't have any gratitude about one specific thing. I had gratitude about everything. I was grateful for my family, for my job, for my home, for my life, for my wife, my children, my family. I was a happy person. I don't remember what being happy actually feels like. I've tried to think about it. I don't remember what excitement feels like now, because it's like I'm numb, because that fucking pill has numbed me to the point where I cannot feel the experiences and experience those experiences that created that happiness feeling inside me. So what's the solution to this 28-minute long rant, or whatever it is? Can't see the time. There's not a solution. There's an equation. And it's going to be a different equation for everybody else rather than it is for me. So this is what I'll propose as of right now, because I'm going to close this video out and I'm going to do another one tomorrow. Today I took my son, as cold as it is, what is it, 12 degrees outside. We bundled up and we went out to the land that I used to hunt prior to this panic and PTSD label, which I don't even like using that label anymore. You know why? Because now I'm giving it a name. And when you give it a name, you're basically calling it an entity. You're giving it a personality. You're giving it something tangible. And after listening to Chad talk the other day, I realize now that my life, this body of mine, is finite. The most valuable piece of real estate I'll ever own and have the blessing of being is right here. And I've been shoveling that toxic shit into it for 18 years. I don't know how to cope without the medication. I've tried some of this crazy shit that these doctors, that they don't even meet you face to face now. They expect you to just do a telephone conference. They give you 15 minutes of their time and basically tell you to, stay on your medication. We'll catch up again in 6 weeks or 4 weeks or blah, 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 blah. And then you're stuck. Sorry, we got a car wreck here that I need to drive around, so. What is holding you stuck? Is it anxiety? Because now that I've done what I've done for the last 18 years, I can tell you right now that Xanax has done nothing long term for me besides make my anxiety worse. It's made it worse. It's created other aspects, other facets and tiers to the level of discomfort that I think I am in. Used to, I'd get muscle twinges, I wouldn't react. Now I get a muscle twinge and instantly it's catastrophic. So then I began to catastrophize the minute I get out of bed, and I catastrophize before I go to bed. My whole day is wrapped up in the same damn pattern. Now listen, this isn't just me bitching and moaning and complaining. This is me trying to pound something that I think that people need to know into your head. You're not alone. You feel alone. If you're like me, you've tried to stay alone, where you try not to have anybody with you, where you don't ride with people in their car because you don't have control where you're going, where you don't sit at a restaurant and conversate. You go in, you eat, you get the hell out, and you're done. So that way you're not cornered and forced to have a conversation and not be able to just leave on a whim. You don't go on vacations, or you don't travel, and you don't get on bridges because you have no exit ramps, or you don't know what's going to happen if the car in front of you breaks down. Okay? You've got your baby, but you don't know if he's going to choke while he's asleep, so you sit up and watch him all night long until your wife or your husband gets home. That's all catastrophizing. And you would think, as smart as we are as humans, that we would be able to sit there and look back at after 18 years and say, you know what, I've been thinking that shit for 18 years. It still hasn't happened. What in the hell have I been doing? But we don't, because we get stuck with it. There's nothing we can change about it in our minds, because our subconscious mind is 95% in control. Then it becomes a battle of, well, to use the term, neuroplasticity, where we have to create a new mindset and try to kill the old one. So today, I decided to bring my medication with me. Not like I have every day for the last 4 years. See, every day for the last 4 years, I always kept my entire bottle and all of my medications, and even a change of clothes in my car, or my truck actually, because just in case something happened, just in case I was in an accident, just in case we got snowed in, or just in case of a storm, or just in case I had a flat tire, I knew that I had my medicine with me and I wasn't going to be freaking out and then have to worry and worry and worry. Do you see where this is going? Do you see which word keeps popping up now? If you go back and play this video, see how many times I've said medication, and you'll get where I'm at now, and then you will probably see the full picture, because your life begins to evolve around that prescription. Everything else takes a back seat. Your family, your wife, your kids, your dog, your car. Hell, some of you might not even wash your clothes. Some of you might not even take a shower every day. I mean, it strips you of your identity. I want you to think about this video and listen to the things that I said. Even if it just helps one person, that's enough for me. But I can tell you right now, I am tired. I'm fucking exhausted. I miss who I am supposed to be and who I was. And I am refusing at this point forward to let a little bitty tablet that I have to take 5 or 6 milligrams of a day so I don't start shaking to the point that I look like I'm having a seizure, to control my life. I can hear the words in the background now. Man, maybe you just need to go to rehab, or they make these clinics now where you can get these ketamine, and look, man, I've researched all that shit. Okay. But before all that stuff sticks, okay, you got to get the oil off of you. And that oil, that's your mindset. You got to strip yourself down to the core mentally and either write it down or say it on camera like I'm doing right now. All the shit that you wish you were doing and all the stuff that you've missed out on, so you can play it back and listen to yourself the next day while you're driving on your radio or on your earbud or just on speakerphone or whatever, and listen to yourself. See what you've got to say. But if you're struggling with anxiety right now, I do understand. If you're struggling with PTSD, I understand that one too. If you're missing your family, I understand. Do I have a better way of putting it, more comfort that I can add to it? Not really, except that you are not by yourself. But if you want to walk down this journey with me, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. I'll try to read them if there are any. Okay? There's going to be people that get on there and talk hate and you should do this or try this, etc., etc. I don't have time for all that shit. I want to help somebody else that's going through what I've been going through for 18 years. So, if this video wasn't for you, I'm sorry. Right? You don't have to watch it. But if you're struggling and you're in a spot and you're watching these people that are sitting in their multi-million-dollar high-rises, or they're making these professional videos and they're calling themselves this such guru or blah blah blah, or I did this story and that story, and they make it sound like they've got a program that's going to work for you, they're full of shit. Because they don't know you. They want you to buy their book, right? Or sit down and join their Patreon channel or some stupid shit, and they're going to try to walk you through what you're going through when they don't have a general idea who you are, much less a psychological idea of who you are. Now, some of them might have been through some shit. They might understand that part of it, but that's not you. Ultimately, you need to be doing what I'm doing right now, which is taking me years to do. Put your ass on the camera, speak the truth to yourself, and then watch it back and listen. Take the pointers that you're giving yourself right now, the negative things that you're saying, and then come up with the solutions yourself with the help of other people who have been through something similar, but don't use that for your blueprint. You have to create and become the architect of the way you want to build you. Nobody else can build you. So listen, whether you're already on medication, or whether you're considering it, or whether you just now started taking it, if it's the one I just told you about, I highly recommend you turn that shit down. Do not take it. Take the discomfort first. Don't take the medicine first. Because once you start taking it, you get 3 weeks into that, you are bound up. It's a small chain then, but after 4 to 6 months, that chain's like holding a fucking Freightliner going down a hill. It's not going to let you go. And eventually, you break, or it puts another chain on you. And then you can't get unstuck without a very, very, very long road ahead of you. Listen, I hope this video was helpful. I want to bless you. I hope that everything works out for you. I want to motivate you to not make the same mistakes that I have. And if you already have, hey, shit happens. But hopefully you didn't wait 18 years to decide to reflect on it deeply like I have over the last 36 hours before I made this video. So listen, thank you for watching. If you did, you stayed with me to the end, leave a comment down at the bottom, and just in that comment, I only want you to say one word. One word. And that's plan. One word. Plan. Put that in the comment section. And then after you put that in there, make your video of yourself talking to you for the future you, to remind yourself of what really is going on in your mind. So listen, I hope this helps you. All right. I'm sorry if you're going through anything similar or remotely near what I've been going through. And I'm sorry if you're going through something much worse, because I couldn't imagine. But I hope that you have a great day, a great evening, and I hope this finds you well. And I'll be doing another updated video tomorrow, because I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I am done with this shit. So I've got to now dig myself out of this 18-year deep canyon that I allowed the pharmaceutical industry to help me step in. But don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily the medication. It's not the medication's fault. Because, like I said in the beginning, it did help me in the beginning. But shame on me for not stopping it when I started to feel better and take a different route. Lower dose, whatever that route might have been. Because I'm sure, I don't know, I'm sure it's probably a little bit easier to get off of a 0.5 milligram or 1 milligram a day than it is to get off 6 milligrams spaced out over 3 to 4 times a day. Because then your body's getting it all day long. And that right there, my friend, is one big ass steel cage. Listen, God bless you. Take care of yourself. Don't do anything irrational or stupid, but just think your way through what you want your life to be. Put the word plan in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one.